we should try and be clear on what we're going to do. If all we're going to do is a head count, which is counting sheets of paper, I could probably put together maybe 12 JHS students from Akotolante JHS, and they could count that in 30 minutes, and we would have the final count. Okay. Because it can't take more than 30 seconds to count, 30 minutes to count 1,000 sheets of paper. So if it's just a head count, it's not that complex, and it shouldn't take that kind of... I think by extended interpretation, we are probably looking at counting the sheets first of all, then looking out for duplicated sheets, triplicated sheets, or quadruplicate sheets as Mr. Chachuchiketa will have it. Then we are also going to then look at whether or not the way in which the petitioners have presented their petition, in that batches that go towards overvoting, batches that go to biometric verification registration. The first thing you're going to have to do is they need to get back to the Supreme Court and ask for very, very clear terms of reference. Okay. No auditor in his right state of mind will actually start a job when he doesn't have clearly stated for him exactly what the scope is. The scope will determine what the price is going to be. So they'll definitely do this. So I think what should happen is next week, as they say, when they go back to the Supreme Court, they will then be told, okay, this is exactly what we want you to do. They are probably going to have to verify the numbers, then look at the exhibits as they've been bashed, make sure that every one of them has an exhibit number and is actually in place. That might take a longer time, and that might take a little bit more visual integrity to be able to ascertain. So that might take a longer time, and auditors will bill you by the hour per the rate. So that's how. There's a certain risk involved here. If they make a mistake, that will go a long way to discredit them in the future to come. If they count and there's a recount, and it turns out that their number is not right, that presents a problem. So they will factor in the risk involved, the political risk involved as well, because this is a high-profile issue, and they will factor all that into their pricing. However, this is such an important case. I don't think that KPMG will lose out if they did an assignment for this at rock bottom price. The profile, the dignity of being asked to actually be the arbiter of everything that is being done at this precise time is fantastic for PR. If I was KPMG, I would do this for free. Because it's, first of all, it's not that complicated. One, it won't take a complex amount of integrity to know exactly what to do. Secondly, the profile you get by doing this, and the position in which we are in this country, the fact that we're actually going through this democratic process, and you have been selected by the Supreme Court of the country to actually be the one who determines whether these numbers are right or wrong, is good enough for me to use and leverage that going forward in the future. I would take it and I would use it and I'll leverage it in the future to come. Well, no amount of compensation will cover up for a mistake if you make it. The mistake would be, to use a better word, such a gargantuan mistake that you wouldn't even recover from that for years to come. So it won't be any different if you do it for free. But the stigma that you picked up $100,000 and you couldn't count 11,842 sheets is not the place I would like to be. So for me, I would do it, as a pro bono issue, but I would do it with high integrity. I would position myself in such a way that it would be such an important decision at the end of the day, and it would be the thing to do.
And welcome to the Midday Brief here on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Nia Krofi Smatabe, and coming up in this edition, Gushagu District Assembly provides employment for some selected women in the community, and also we'll tell you about the Kwon landfill site, which is gradually coming under threat because of influx of waste from Accra Metropolis as well. And we'll bring you some briefs and some wellness. Stay with us. Now to our first story. 2 suspected armed robbers have been lynched at Echuma Boko in the Ashanti region early Monday morning. The robbers were alleged to have robbed victims of mobile phones and other personal effects, but were trailed by the youth in the town and were lynched. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Mohamed Nuruddin joins us with some information on this particular development. Good afternoon to you, Nuruddin.
Good afternoon, Smart.
Okay, so what else have you gathered as far as this particular incident is concerned?
Okay, what I have gathered so far is that the two suspected armed robbers who were linked early hours of today, I came to the Achumaboko to rob residence. So they were quickly identified by the youth in the area, and so they chased them and then they lynched them. And as I'm speaking now, the youth are saying that security in the area is not all that tight, and they are calling on the police to provide them with enough security.
Okay, sorry to cut in, but when you say the youth identified them when they came to the area, is it that they identified them as people they know, or they saw in real or noticed that these guys are robbers or have an intent to commit evil?
Yeah, I've spoken with some of the people here, and they are telling me that one of them, they were able to identify one of them, and especially, they came to rob them. Okay. So in the process of that, they identify them and then they lynch them. So they are saying that security in this area is not all that tight. For the past 6 months, they have been experiencing this, and they recalled one woman who was murdered painfully in this area. So they are saying anytime that they see an armed robber or suspected armed robber here, they will lynch him. As far as they are concerned, they would lynch him because the police are not providing them with enough security.
Okay, and so apart from that one person they identified, were they able to identify the others as well?
No, they were not able to identify the other person. We are still talking to some of them to find out whether they will be able to identify him. But as I'm speaking now, police came some few minutes ago and they have carried the dead bodies away. We understand they are sending them to the mortuary, and then they will conduct further investigation.
Okay, so the police haven't started full-scale investigation yet?
For now, no.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you very much, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin. He's our Ashanti regional correspondent, bringing us up to speed on some suspected armed robbers who were lynched in the early hours of this morning in Achumaboko in the Ashanti region. And we'll still stay in that particular region where a 30-year-old nephew of the Ashanti regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party, FF Anto, was on Saturday night shot dead by gunmen suspected to be armed robbers. Prince Opoku Anto was attacked at the Jack City Pub, a drinking bar at Dichemsu in Kumasi. The side incident comes less than a week after two people were gunned down in similar fashion at Ashtown, also a suburb in Kumasi. Again, a report by our Ashanti regional correspondent Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin. 5 men suspected to be armed robbers raided the pub and headed to the counter to demand the bar attendant surrendered all money made from the day's sales. They also demanded Prince Opoku gives up his iPhone, a demand he resisted, leading to the suspect shooting him. His uncle, Mr. Anto, recounts how he got to know of the tragic incident amid concerns about growing insecurity in the Kumasi metropolis.
It's been a very sad day today for me. I woke up in the morning to realize I'm told that my nephew, whom I love, has been shot by some assailants, right? And this is what I heard this morning. And obviously, I won't be a happy person, right? And this thing has been happening in Kumasi for quite a long time. Only last Tuesday, people were killed in Kumasi. 2 people were killed in Kumasi.
He charged the police in the region to be up and doing to avert such occurrences, arguing the taxpayers' money must be put to good use.
I believe the police should wake up and do serious work on these things. We can't stay in Kumasi while you are not safe. Right? You move here tomorrow, you don't know what's going to happen to anybody. I never thought this thing would happen to my own nephew. And I believe by payment of tax, people should be protected. Is that a protection we're having in Kumasi? Right? Is that a protection we're having in Kumasi?
The police would, however, not comment on the matter yet, but a press release issued by the Regional Police Command and signed by its Public Relations Officer, ASP Mohammed Tanko, puts a 2,000 Ghana cedi bounty on the heads of the killers. It also says anybody with information leading to the arrest of the perpetrators of the crime, including the shooting at Ashtown, will be rewarded with the amount. Now, away from the Ashanti region, the newly commissioned ultra-modern landfill site at Atikokan risks an early closure. The site, which started operations in January this year, may not live up to its expected 15-year lifespan, thanks in part to the influx of waste to the site. Joy News' Yafuswa Jemfi, who visited the site, reports that one of the cells for waste collection is approaching maximum capacity, and if the situation continues, all 4 cells could be filled by the end of the year.
The Atikokan landfill site has existed for years. It started out as an ordinary dumping site for waste generated within the Tema metropolis. But in 2011, the Tema Metropolitan Assembly, with support from the World Bank, embarked on a project to give the site a facelift. 2 years and $7 million later, the new phase of the landfill site boasts of 4 cells for waste collection and largest treatment facilities which aim at preventing underground water contamination. Altogether, the 4 cells are expected to have a lifespan of between 12 and 15 years. But 4 months after the commencement of operations at the new site, one of the cells faces an early closure thanks to the unexpected influx of waste from the Accra metropolis. Each cell is designed in such a way that refuse has to pile up to 10 meters high to reach its maximum. It is supposed to take 3 years before it is being closed, but as you can see behind me, this vent of the cell, I'm being told, is 6 meters high already.
The problem we are facing here is all the vehicles coming, which the facility was not meant for, but there's no other place that they can go, so they are all using this facility here. And the rate at which we are receiving, at times we receive about 80 to 100 trips a day, more than 100 trips a day, and we are doing 24 hours here. And our challenges, especially for the night duties, we have a lot of challenges in the night duty. Drivers coming in the night doesn't actually take instructions as how to. Immediately they enter the cells, you are in the scale room. Before you come out, they have dumped somewhere and left.
Even though authorities are finding ways to contain the situation, they fear the site may collapse before its time.
It will not last because of the volume that is coming from Accra. The Accra volume is almost about 3 times that of Tema. 3 times that of Tema. So if we continue like this, it will not let us. So I will appeal to government, if government will find another facilities or build up more landfill sites within Accra so that they can release the Tema pressure.
The creation of landfill sites is increasingly becoming a problem as communities are unwilling to release lands for the purpose because of the associated health risk. Maybe it is time city authorities take a cue from the design of the Atikokan landfill site, which comes with at least some guarantee of safety, so communities can freely donate land for waste collection and treatment.
Now, the Microfinance and Small Loans Centre, Maslock, has expressed its preparedness to assist traders who lost their properties in last weekend's fire at the Kantamanto market. The support, however, comes with one condition, that the traders relocate to the Tuesday market or Odona market as directed by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Maslock, which recently lent support to some affected traders at the Kokompe market, says it is best placed to offer support to the affected traders.
Kantamanto, one of the busiest market centers in Accra Central Business District, was razed down by fire last Sunday. The fire, which reportedly started at dawn, swept through the market, destroying items running into billions of Ghana cedis. Vice President Kwesi Misa Arthur, who visited the market that same day, asked financial institutions to assist the victims with soft loans to help them bounce back to business. To this end, the Public Relations Officer for the Microfinance and Small Loan Centre, Mustafa Abubakar, tells Joy News his outfit is ready to support the affected traders.
Our team is ready. Our team of credit officers who are going to be doing the appraisals are ready. And so what we are just waiting for is the list. And so when we see the list and the amount allocated to each and every person, if the amount is huge or more than what we have in our coffers, we definitely would have to seek to the Ministry of Finance to help us be able to meet the shortfall.
The loans, however, he says, would be disbursed to traders who come in groups, as was the case with traders at the Kokompe market, which was also gutted by fire some months ago.
The leaders are going to be tied as guarantees for these loans. That's the leaders of the market. So the leaders would have to make sure that they are forthright with the truth, with the issues that they are bringing to us, so that we do not get some kind of delinquency loans. They are now being asked to go to the Tuesday market and then the Odona market. I'm sure those ones have shares already. So we are partners with the AMA to making sure that unless you move to that place, which the AMA is saying, you don't get the money. Do you understand me? And so it's something that we should be abiding by as partners.
Alluding to the company's low interest on loans, the Maslok PRO explained why they are best placed to give loans to the victims of the Kantamanto fire disaster.
Well, for now, Maslok gives an interest rate of 2% a month. But normally, when it comes to issues like this, we tend to we tend to sit down to review to see whether we should maintain it or come down. But that will depend on management. We'll all sit and look at it, make sure that the leaders have guaranteed for each and every one of them, and then we get an assurance, especially from them, that they'll be able to pay back and administer. Because we don't want them to be thinking that these monies are free monies. Well, it's difficult recovering these monies and then giving it to another fire as regards.
Mustafa Abubakar, however, says Maslok is yet to receive a list of victims who will need their support from the National Disaster and Management Organization.
And in a related development, to forestall the occurrence of fire outbreaks in the Makalah market, the Second-Hand Clothes Sellers Association has banned the use of gas and deep freezers at their portion of the market. They are also welcoming the directive from the government to the Electricity Company of Ghana to conduct an inspection of all markets to identify and rectify illegal connections, which has been identified as one of the main causes of fires. Justice Amalai Tete, chairman of the association, said a task force has been formed to check all those using gas and other non-prescribed electrical equipment in their stalls. He said illegal connections, traders using overloaded meters, the usage of electric irons without the prescribed regulators, and inappropriate fridges and freezers were some of the concerns raised by traders at their portion of the market. Tete said anyone who found violating the ban would face a 1-month suspension. He also commended the Ghana Fire Service and the police for ensuring that no goods were looted in the recent fire outbreak on Tuesday, May 7, which destroyed the wares of some traders. Francis Afadi, leader of the 6-man task force, gave the assurance that effective monitoring and security measures would be put in place to ensure the safety of all. Authorities at the Korle Teaching Hospital are this week expected to open a special clinic to cater for its staff. This follows threats by nurses of the hospital to embark on a strike because they struggle to access healthcare when they fall sick. The nurses went on demonstration last week demanding that they be given preferential treatment whenever they visit the hospital to access healthcare. The agitated nurses marched to the hospital's administration wearing red armbands to present a strongly worded petition to the hospital authorities. They had given a 1-week ultimatum, and hospital authorities had assured to address their concerns as soon as possible. Convener of the concerned nurses of Korle, Joseph Dantani, had told Joy News they are satisfied with the arrangement. Let's catch our breath. We'll be right back with some more stories. Accounting firm KPMG is expected to officially respond to the Supreme Court's formal request for it to recount the pink sheets exhibits in the ongoing presidential election petition hearing today. The court formally wrote to the firm last Friday to undertake the review exercise after the presiding judge, Justice Atuguba, had ordered an audit into the exhibits submitted by the petitioners. This followed a challenge of the figures by lawyers for the respondents. Joy News sources have confirmed that KPMG received the formal request on the same day. Now that the accounting firm has been officially informed of the assignment, it will be putting a team together for the audit. It would also be expected to quote its price for the job. Meanwhile, Joy Business sources estimates the audit could cost some $100,000. Earlier, Joy News spoke to Casely Hayford on his take on the auditing of the pink sheets by KPMG.
We should try and be clear on what we're going to do. If all we're going to do is a head count, which is counting sheets of paper, I could probably put together maybe 12 JHS students from Akotulande JHS, and they could count that in 30 minutes, and we would have the final count. Okay. Because it can't take more than 30 seconds to count, 30 minutes to count 1,000 sheets of paper. So if it's just a head count, it's not that complex, and it shouldn't take that kind of... I think by extended interpretation, we are probably looking at counting the sheets first of all, then looking out for duplicated sheets, triplicated sheets, or quadruplicate sheets as Mr. Chachuchiketa will have it. Then we are also going to then look at whether or not the way in which the petitioners have presented their petition, in that batches that go towards overvoting, batches that go to biometric verification registration. The first thing you're going to have to do is they need to get back to the Supreme Court and ask for very, very clear terms of reference. Okay. No auditor in his right state of mind will actually start a job when he doesn't have clearly stated for him exactly what the scope is. The scope will determine what the price is going to be. Okay. So they'll definitely do this. So I think what should happen is next week, as they say, when they go back to the Supreme Court, they will then be told, okay, this is exactly what we want you to do. They are probably going to have to verify the numbers, then look at the exhibits as they've been bashed, make sure that every one of them has an exhibit number and is actually in place. That might take a longer time, and that might take a little bit more visual integrity to be able to ascertain. So that might take a longer time, and auditors will bill you by the hour per the rate. So that's how. There's a certain risk involved here. If they make a mistake, that will go a long way to discredit them in the future to come. If they count and there's a recount, and it turns out that their number is not right, that presents a problem. So they will factor in the risk involved, the political risk involved as well, because this is a high-profile issue, and they will factor all that into their pricing. However, this is such an important case. I don't think that KPMG will lose out if they did an assignment for this at rock bottom price. The profile, the dignity of being asked to actually be the arbiter of everything that is being done at this precise time is fantastic for PR. If I was KPMG, I would do this for free. Because it's, first of all, it's not that complicated. One, it won't take a complex amount of integrity to know exactly what to do. Secondly, the profile you get by doing this and the position in which we are in this country, the fact that we're actually going through this democratic process and you have been selected by the Supreme Court of the country to actually be the one who determines whether these numbers are right or wrong is good enough for me to use and leverage that going forward in the future. I would take it and I would use it and I'll leverage it in the future to come. Well, no amount of compensation will cover up for a mistake if you make it. The mistake would be, to use a better word, such a gargantuan mistake that you wouldn't even recover from that for years to come. So it won't be any different if you do it for free. But the stigma that you picked up $100,000 and you couldn't count 11,842 sheets is not the place I would like to be. So for me, I would do it, as a pro bono issue, but I would do it with high integrity. I would position myself in such a way that it would be such an important decision at the end of the day, and it would be the thing to do.
Well, let's still stay with the issues of the court. The office of one of the circuit court judges at the Cocoa Affairs Court in Accra has been burgled. The burglary was detected on Monday, May 13, 2013, and it is believed to have taken place at dawn. It is not clear if anything was taken from the court or the circuit court judge's office. A court registrar confirmed the incident and said the ministry's police station has started investigations into the burglary. The burglary comes in the wake of a raging controversy over whether the national security outfit should take custody of over thousands of pink sheets tendered in evidence at the Supreme Court in the election petition case. The sheets are to be audited by international accounting firm KPMG. National security personnel were denied access to the sheets on Friday when personnel from the office, according to coordinator Larry Bavlulate, went to the Supreme Court to protect and secure the sheets from being tampered with. The Supreme Court gave orders for the audit earlier that same day at the instance of the third Respondents' Counsel, Chachuchiketa, who has been cross-examining key witness Dr. Mamudu Baumia. Still staying at the courts or issues that have to do with the courts, businessman Alfred says he will soon expose persons within the NDC scheming to get him out of the party. He was speaking at a news conference call to react to the appeal he lost and other matters relating to the judgment debt paid him. The Court of Appeal, in a unanimous decision last week, upheld the decision of the Commercial Court to allow the state to introduce evidence of fraud in the payment of 51.2 million Ghana cedis to him on the basis that the agreement that saw him being paid the money was not sacrosanct and could be set aside.
If there's culpability, I am not after anybody. Because sometimes it's practically impossible to go and hold the whole opposition and government and say you are jailing them for one thing or the other. People voted for them. So the law must do, so that we learn from here. I'm not after that. But some people within the NDC also actually hyped this and said he is targeting you guys. So join me, let's fight him. Because they are afraid of their own shadow. They know why they did what they did. We will come there. What are they afraid of? We will come there.
Embattled businessman Alfred says he will soon expose persons within the ruling National Democratic Congress busy working to disgrace him. Alfred is currently in court battling the state over allegations he received an amount of 51 million Ghana cedis as judgment debt for doing no work. Speaking to journalists at his residence, Alfred said he still remains a member of the NDC and will only leave when the party abandons its social democratic principle.
What kind of demon has possessed people in this country that they don't want their own colleagues to help in building this country far ahead? Why? They refused me. But you know, pastors have even taken their salaries, contributed. A lot of churches, I cannot mention it. A lot of people within the NDC and MPP bring me food here. Yes, on a daily basis. You find people bringing everything from the north to the south. And a lot of mosques from Tamale to Kumasi, some bring me cow, everything. Why? Two political parties join together against one man. Ghanaians will want to know why. The truth, there is a lot of truth in scratch your back, I scratch on my back. And you wait, let's go through the whole thing, and then let's see. I believe that the judges of this country are truthful, they are developing the law, and the law will go. I believe in the professionalism of a lot of lawyers, but sometimes I almost like fall dead when I hear some of the lawyers making certain talks into the political free whereby they don't want to help in developing the law and the right of the people of this country.
Alfred also used a press conference to address what he called a misleading reportage in the media over the appeals court's decision on Thursday to uphold a commercial court ruling over the payment of a 51 million Ghana cedis judgment debt.
Again, even at the last plus here, they agree here that fraud. I have, according to Woyome, the state could raise the issues of fraud, but argue that it could not raise any other issues. If this were part of my plea, which you have reported again, then what constituted the first paragraphs and all that one? What are you trying to achieve?
Woyome is standing trial for causing financial loss to the state to the tune of 51.2 million Ghana cedis judgment debt paid to him.
Away from the courts, Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Sylvester Mensah, has told Joy News the authority is hoping to fully automate general activities of the scheme by the end of the year. This includes issuance of biometric ID cards and computerizing claims payment of all service providers. The authority has already started a pilot exercise of computerizing claims payment for service providers in the Greater Accra region. According to Sylvester Mensah, it is now the challenge of providers to meet the challenge of submitting electronic claims. He stated that the authority is currently supporting 46 providers across the country in the pilot. The authority will also begin issuing biometric ID cards to new subscribers this month. The chief executive of the authority also told Joy News the initiatives would make implementation of the scheme more efficient. He said the authority is working towards electronic transmissions and vetting of claims, which requires that the claims are digitized from the service provider and transmitted to the claims processing center. Let's head up north, and in a bid to eradicate poverty and provide employment for the youth of Gushegu, the Gushegu District Assembly has engaged the youth in the remote areas of the district in road construction and maintenance. This was disclosed when the Gushegu District Assembly, led by the District Chief Executive Alhaji Al-Hassan Fusaini, took journalists round the district to inspect ongoing projects in the district.
The Gushegu District Assembly, led by the District Chief Executive, Alhaji Al-Hassan Fusaini, took journalists round to inspect some ongoing projects in the district. Supervisor of the project, Latif Yusuf, said 88 women and 76 men of Patili, a community in the Gushegu District, have been employed by the District Assembly to construct a 76-kilometer Patili-Gushegu road. The women used hoes and cutlasses as basic equipment to clear the road and are paid 6 cedi a day. The visit also took the team to Zantili, Bulugu, Nayugu and Nakunga to inspect an electrification project to connect the communities to the national grid. The district chief executive also inspected a dugout dam at Pumu, which when completed will supply the people of Pumu with potable water. In Gushegu Township, 58 people with disability in the district were presented with a check of 15,000 Ghana cedis as their 2% share of the District Assembly Common Fund. DCE Alhaji Al-Hassan Fusaini tasked the leadership of the disabled to make good use of the money. Issa Shirazu, on behalf of the persons with disability, thanked the chief executive and the assembly for the money and promised to put it to good use.
Let's take another break at this point. We'll be back with some wellness for you. Okay, so I promised that we'll be doing wellness when we return from the break. And, well, the lady who claims to know it all when it comes to wellness is in the house. Good afternoon, Jennifer.
Good afternoon, Smart. And I say no such thing.
Oh, really?
Really.
Seriously?
It's a learning experience.
Oh.
You learn something, I learn something, we all learn something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the case. Okay. So what do you have for us in wellness today?
Well, today we're sharing information on caffeine. Specifically, coffee.
I know someone who should be watching this.
Oh, trust me, that someone put it together.
Oh, really? Is it biased?
Not exactly.
Okay.
We're talking about the side effects coffee has on women. I know, right?
Quiet. Yeah.
Okay, so seeing as Smart has learned something, and I have learned something, let's get you learning something. So as I said, on Wellness Today, we're looking at the side effects of coffee on women. How many times have you caught yourself saying, I'm kind of slow, I need a cup of coffee to pick me up? Well, some of us like it strong and some of us like it mild. Some drink it with sugar and milk and some like their coffee black. Do we know everything we need to know about coffee? I guess the answer will be in today's Wellness.
People with more serious addiction to coffee can experience nervousness, hand trembles, cold sweats, and even anger until they get their dose. Having too much coffee will meddle with your sleep, especially if you're drinking coffee in the evening. Sure, there are people that claim that coffee doesn't have that effect on them, but you know what? That's even worse. It means that you're already having too much coffee and your body is building a resistance towards it. Caffeine keeps you awake. Too much coffee causes insomnia, restlessness, and overall bad sleep. Caffeine increases your blood pressure. The effect is temporary, but if you drink a lot of coffee, it can cause permanent high blood pressure.
Now, I know you saw that last picture there. Life is short, enjoy your coffee, but do so in moderation. Let's move on to sports now, which is brought to you by Tigo, which is why I am in a good mood. Smile, you've got Tigo. So the local Black Stars team will begin camping today in Obuasi in preparation for a three-nation tournament in Liberia from the 24th to the 26th of May, and their CHAN qualifier against Benin in June. And then on the international front, Malaga's Manuel Pellegrini has denied that he has agreed to a deal to replace Roberto Mancini as Manchester City's manager.
The local Black Stars team will begin camping on Monday in Obuasi to prepare for a three-nation tournament in Liberia from 24 to 26 May and their CAN qualifier against Benin in June. Ghana have been invited to join Guinea and host Liberia to celebrate their independence anniversary. Coach Dauda Lutrat has invited 25 players for the two crucial impending assignments. Ghana defender Isaac Vosa has undergone successful surgery to correct an excruciating knee injury. The Red Bull Salzburg player ruptured his anterior cruciate ligament on his right knee and collateral ligament sprain during last Tuesday's Austrian Cup semi-final defeat to FC Traun. The centre-back went under the knife on Friday, and doctors have confirmed the lanky player will need 6 months to recover. And this means Vosa will miss the remainder of the season and also the opening stages of the first half of next term. Malaga's Manuel Pellegrini has denied he has agreed to a deal to replace Roberto Mancini as Manchester City manager. After losing the FA Cup final to Wigan on Saturday, Mancini criticised City's owners for not questioning reports that a deal with Pellegrini, 59, was done. The Chilean Pellegrini told Malaga's website, quote, "I categorically deny that I am the new Manchester City coach," unquote. Mancini added nothing has been signed and no agreement reached. He said he has been fortunate enough and very proud that every year the big clubs are interested in him. Mancini took over from Mark Hughes in December 2009, leading City to the FA Cup in 2011 and the Premier League title a year later.
Okay, so now it's time to take our trip around the world, and we'll start with some hot stuff from the world of health. The World Health Organization says it appears likely that the novel coronavirus, NCOV, can be passed between people in close contact. Plus, we also have some election results from Pakistan and Bulgaria.